Hello and welcome. So today we're diving into a really big topic. How to actually genuinely improve your English in a way that doesn't feel like a total chore. Let's get right into it.
You know, if you've ever asked yourself these questions, you are in very, very good company. These are probably the most common frustrations that almost every single learner has. But here's the good news, the answers are way more straightforward than you think. We're about to break down some really practical strategies that actually work.
All right, section 1. So the very first step isn't what you'd expect. It's not about learning some complex grammar rule or memorizing a huge list of words. Nope. It's all about a mindset shift. Because honestly, for most of us, the biggest thing holding us back isn't technical, it's what's going on inside our own heads.
I want you to really let this sink in. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Think about it. How many times have you stayed silent because you were afraid of making a mistake? We get so stuck trying to find that one perfect word or perfect sentence that the moment to just communicate and to learn from it just passes us by. The truth is, a mistake isn't a failure. It's proof you're trying. It's proof you're in the game.
This really just boils it down to a simple choice, right? If you're always chasing perfection, that's a path that leads straight to fear, to staying silent, and to feeling like you're stuck in mud. But the moment you shift your goal to just focusing on communication, on just getting your idea across, everything changes. That focus, it unlocks practice, it builds your confidence, and it creates real, actual progress you can feel.
I love this analogy. Just think about it for a second. Can you imagine seeing a toddler fall over and saying, "Oof, nope, maybe walking isn't for you"? Of course not. That's ridiculous. We cheer for them, we celebrate the attempt. Falling isn't a failure in learning to walk. It's a necessary part of the process. It's exactly the same for learning a language. Those stumbles, those mistakes, that's how you get good.
Okay, so with that new mindset firmly in place, let's get down to brass tacks. How do you actually go about building your own personal English world, especially if you don't live in an English-speaking country?
You don't need a plane ticket to immerse yourself, not at all. This whole concept of an English environment is just about intentionally, consciously bringing the language into your everyday life. And it's something that literally anyone can start doing today for free.
And it really does start with these surprisingly small tweaks. Switching your phone's language, for instance. Suddenly, every single notification is a tiny English lesson. Or, putting on a podcast while you're driving or on the train. That turns dead time into active learning time. None of these things are hard, but when you put them all together, they start to rewire your brain. Thinking in English just starts to feel, more natural.
All right, so you're taking in more English. You're hearing it, you're seeing it. Now let's talk about the part that's often the most intimidating for people, actually speaking. Let's try to reframe this a bit. Speaking isn't some test that you pass or fail. It's a physical skill. I want you to think of it just like a muscle that needs a good workout.
It's so true. You can't get stronger by just reading a book about weightlifting, right? You have to actually go to the gym and lift the weights. Well, it's the exact same thing with speaking. You can't get fluent just by listening. You have to physically use your mouth, your tongue, your vocal cords to make the sounds. The more you use that muscle, the stronger and more coordinated it's going to get.
So a fantastic way to train this muscle is a technique called shadowing, and it's really simple. Here's how it works. First, you just listen to a short clip of a native speaker. Step 2, you immediately repeat it out loud. And you're not just saying the words, you're trying to copy the exact rhythm, the music of the language. And then, step 3, and this is the real game changer, record yourself. When you play your version back and compare it to the original, you get this amazing, powerful feedback on exactly where you can improve.
And the best part is, you don't even need a partner for this stuff. The whole goal here is just to get comfortable hearing the sound of your own voice speaking English. So talk to yourself. I'm serious. As you're making dinner, just narrate what you're doing. Okay, now I'm chopping the onions. Or pull out your phone and just record a 1-minute summary of your day. Yeah, it's going to feel a little weird at first, but think of it as your own private speaking gym. No judgment, just reps.
Okay, so we've got the mindset right, and we have some great techniques. But how do you make all of this stick?
You know, how do you turn that initial burst of motivation into habits that create real, long-term fluency?
This one is so key to understanding how our brains actually learn. We all think that a 3-hour marathon study session on a Sunday is super productive, but it's really not. Our brains just aren't built for cramming like that. It's the short, focused 20-minute session that you do every single day that builds the strong connections. Consistency beats intensity every time. It makes learning feel like a simple habit, not some big weekend chore.
So here are a few really smart habits that will help make it all stick. Honestly, the most important one is right there. Make it fun. Because if you don't enjoy it, you're just not going to keep doing it. So if you love video games, play them in English. If you love cooking shows, watch them in English. Beyond that, little things help, like learning words in full sentences so you actually understand their context. And track your journey. Seriously, listening to a voice memo you recorded 3 months ago is the best motivation you could ever ask for.
On those days when you feel tired or you're just not motivated, try to remember this. Every single article you read, every podcast you listen to, every sentence you get brave enough to say out loud, it's not wasted time. It is a direct investment in that confident, fluent person you are working so hard to become. So, I'm going to leave you with this one final thought. Forget about trying to create some huge, perfect, overwhelming plan. Just ask yourself, what is the one small step you can take today, right now? Will you change your phone's language? Will you find one new podcast to follow? Or will you just record your voice for 60 seconds? Whatever it is, just do that one thing. Because the journey to fluency, it starts right there. Thanks so much for joining us.